everyone, it's Maki here. Today, let's take a look at an interview that was published in the Japanese magazine Gundam Ace. It's about the GQuuuuuuX TV anime series. We'll be checking out the comments from the overall director Mr. Kazuyotsu Maki and the overall scriptwriter Mr. Yoji no Kido. One of the most memorable mobile armors to appear in the story was the Kikeroga. It appeared as a mobile armor, but halfway through the story, it surprised us by revealing the structure of a mobile suit inside. So, what inspired this design? Let's analyze it based on their comments. Along the way, we'll also find some opinions that overlap with those of past Gundam designers. Before we dive into the main topic, let me quickly share a little update. On my channel, I'm currently inviting support through memberships. For just 99 cents a month, you can get a name badge and a comment badge. Alright then, let's check out the comments. Let's start by looking at Mr. Inokido's comment. I've actually been thinking about this for a long time. Shouldn't we consider a mobile armor to be a mobile suit equipped with armor that transforms it into a powerful combat weapon? That's why for the mobile armors appearing in the story of GQuuuuuuX, I always imagined them as well an armor. I also suspect that Mr. Yoshiyuki Tomino might have had a similar idea when creating the original 0079. One example that supports this is the G armor. This is the form that is achieved when the Gundam and the G fighter combine. I interpret the G armor state as the basic form of a mobile armor. This makes me think that the Zeon forces might also be storing mobile suits inside their mobile armors. Inside the Zakurello, for example, there is a Zaku. Inside the Big Zam is a mobile suit called the Zam. Of course, this is just speculation on my part, but that's how I see it. When we were discussing the GQuuuuuuX project, I presented this opinion to Mr. Hideaki Anno. Mr. Anno really liked this interpretation. So in the story of GQuuuuuuX, we decided to express that concept visually. Initially, I came up with the idea that there would be a DOM exclusively for Sharia Brawl inside the Brawl. However, Mr. Tsurumaki was not very impressed with the idea of a DOM being stored inside. After much trial and error, the Kikeroga's mobile suit form was designed. However, its shape ended up being slightly different to my original idea. Nevertheless, the concept of having a mobile suit stored inside was realized. Next, let's take a look at Mr. Tsurumaki's comment. One well-known topic in the Gundam series is the difference between a normal suit and a mobile suit. Why is a spacesuit called a normal suit? It's because the existence of the mobile suit created the need for the term normal suit. In the world of Gundam, the mobile suit is at the center of technology. That's why the term normal suit is necessary. Using that logic, we can also think of mobile armor as a technology derived from mobile suits. Consequently, the concept of a mobile suit wearing armor is highly plausible. Similar ideas can be seen in designer Ikuto Yamashita's sketches. I believe it was for the draft design of the LMF. It was a design featuring a humanoid machine resembling a mobile suit stored inside. I remember it was a design with a mobile suit that looked like a woman inside it. However, it never made it into the TV anime. Their discussion is truly fascinating. This is because Mr. Inokido's idea is one that many Gundam designers have also shared. over the years. The G-Armor he mentioned is one such example. Mr. Yoshiyuki Tomino, the creator of the Gundam series, also realized the concept of a mobile suit wearing armor and transforming into a mobile armor. Mr. Hajime Kotoki has also taken a similar approach. The Gundam GP03 that appears in 0083 is a perfect example of this. It is characterized by the way a mobile suit transforms into a massive winged form by equipping an enormous, arsenal-like set of equipment. The Deep Striker from Gundam Sentinel was also created based on this concept. Mr. Kotoki also designed the Deep Striker. Furthermore, Mr. Shoji Kawamori has also challenged himself with designs based on the same idea. He is widely known as the mechanical designer for the Macross series. Personally, I really like the YF-19, one of the machines he designed which appears in Macross. However, Mr. Kawamori has also contributed many designs to the Gundam series. He designed the Gundam GP01 and GP02 that appear in 0083. He also participated in designing the Gundam GP03. Although the final design was decided by Mr. Kotoki, Mr. Kawamori also made design proposals. One of these was his idea that a Gundam becomes a mobile armor by wearing armor. Here is the design of a standard Gundam form. Mr. Kawamori added the note in this state. It will be equipped with massive silhouette armor. Silhouette armor was a term coined by Mr. Kawamori during the design stage. Here is the design of the Gundam equipped with the large armor. It carries huge beam cannons on its arms and a weapon called the Mega Bazooka on its shoulders. There is also a note for the legs that reads propellant tanks and weapon containers, detachable. The idea of a mobile suit becoming a mobile armor by wearing armor gave birth to the Kikeroga that appeared in the story of GQuuuuuuX. This concept has also been independently realized by Gundam designers across the generations. It's a fascinating fact. In fact, you could say that the Kikeroga and the Gundam GP03 are like distant relatives. If in the future, a spin-off based on the story of GQuuuuuuX were ever to be made, this element might serve as some kind of hint. Of course, we should bear in mind that the concept of a mobile suit becoming a mobile armor by wearing armor is not official lore, but simply one of Mr. Inokido's ideas. Nevertheless, this kind of free thinking and collaboration between creators who turn ideas into designs is essential in building the world of the Gundam series. Those skilled at drawing fan art might enjoy designing a mobile armor that builds on Mr. Inokido's idea. Thanks so much for watching until the end. See you again in the next episode.